Hey, you are once again drinking with the Beer Whisperer, and my family has been gone most of the day, so I've been able to knock a couple of videos out, and I'm hoping to get one more in. They called and said they were on their way home, so I may not get this all the way in, so we're going to give it a shot. You just saw me pop this, I'm going to assume. I guess I should have held it up there, but hey, you know, what the hell. Anyway, alright. This is I'm the Beer Whisperer. How the heck are you? You are drinking with the Beer Whisperer. This is a segment where I just kind of have a beer, talk about it a little bit. It's not necessarily a beer review like most ours, kind of just like we were hanging out in the pub. Anyway, this is an Urban Chestnut Winged Nut. I've talked about Urban Chestnut before. Let me pour this bad boy. I like these guys for a lot of reasons. Urban Chestnut has two series of beer, the Reverence and the Revolution. The Reverence kind of pays homage or homage to traditional, putting my beer condom on here, my computer here, drop some presents on here so my wife didn't get upset. Let's keep everybody happy. Their Revolution series, like this is part of the Revolution series, it's kind of taking styles in a different direction. This is an ale that's brewed with chestnuts. I'm going to read just a tad from, like I said, I don't usually do these as beer reviews, but I do want to give you some info. And it is 5.7%. 25 IBUs is the stats. So we affectionately refer to this to our first beer in the Revolution series of modern American craft brew. Okay, does that make sense to you? That this is what they're doing. As our unusual little bird, it's a little on the flighty side, 5.7%, and it's a little wacky because we brew it with finely milled chestnuts. Willamette hops, and we ferment with the Bavarian Weissbier. Bavarian Weissbier yeast strain. All of these nuances contribute to the nutty personality. Okay. So I'm assuming you beer geeks understand what all that meant. I do like this beer. I've had it before. I've done several beer reviews on it. It's interesting, and I've said before, I say it every time, so it's pretty redundant by now. But I've never ate an actual chestnut, so I have no idea what it's supposed to taste like. The aroma that I get, though, on the memory that I have, things, I kind of smells like it smells like hazelnuts to me. I kind of taste hazelnut. Or as we used to call them when I was a kid, Filbert. Hey, Filbert! We used to call them Filberts. Hey, Filbert! Anyway, I digress. You can see that it has a fair amount of carbonation. I don't know if you can tell that there, but it does. It is. Anyway, I can see it. I wish you could. Anyway, what am I going to say? It's an interesting beer. It's not heavy. But it would be one, again, I think would be, as an American, I think it would be one that would accompany my Thanksgiving meal greatly, because it does have kind of those nutty nuances to it. Just like me, I'm fun to have at Thanksgiving because I have nutty nuances. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, because, you know, it is something that could hold up to a turkey dinner. But on a day like today, it's not so heavy that it just doesn't seem to work. It does have some refreshing qualities as well as satisfying qualities. So it's just one of those kind of good all-around brews. I do taste nuts, though. I mean, you can't taste nuts. Like I said, I've never actually had a chestnut, so I don't know, exactly what that. But yeah, but it brings in memories of kind of the hazelnut or filbert kind of thing. My daughter is expecting her first grandchildren, so my son and wife and daughter kind of went out. They were kind of hitting a few places, and we also have a wedding to go to tomorrow, so we were trying to find some clothes for my son to wear because he's basically worn nothing but basketball shorts since February. My hair's got this weird shit going on. Anyway, Hey, I don't care what it looks like. I don't even care if it turns gray. As long as it stays in my head, we're cool. And I got a pretty good head of hair for a 47-year-old man there. I do have this receding hairline, but it's kind of the family thing. If you knew any members of my family, you'd know that this kind of shit happens. And I've actually had this just about the same hairline since I was in my mid-20s. So I'm hanging in there pretty good for an old guy. Oh wow, this is a good beer. It's tasty, has a lot of flavor. It's one of those. You talk to beer geeks, craft beer nerds, and there's I won't say controversy because it's not, it's kind of a silly thing. But you talk about what constitutes a session beer. Some people say it's over 5%. For me, it's over 6%. I think anything under 6% can constitute session beer. But I've also met some folks that say it's anything under 8%. I don't necessarily agree with that logic, but I can see where they're coming from because, generally speaking, the big beer, the big beer, it usually starts at about 8%, the Imperials and that kind of thing. So if a session beer stops at 6%, you've kind of got this gray area between 6 and 8. So I kind of see where they're coming from. The reason I don't agree with that completely is that if you drink in many beers at about 7%, 7.5%, those aren't session beers, baby. You're going to get whacked quickly. Do I consider them big beers? No, because you've got many 10, 11, bourbon barrel stouts or barley wines, that kind of thing. So I don't know what you call them yet, but for me, the session, anything up to 6 is a session. From 6 to 8 is kind of a gray area. Anything above 8 is a big beer. And 5.7. Okay, this is one. I'm not sure if this is one you want to drink a whole lot of at once, because it has a lot of flavor, and it may not be one you want to have 2 or 3 of at a sitting. I can certainly drink a couple of them, but that's going to be probably about all I'm going to want to do. It's a good beer though. They come in these big bottles though, so they're 16.7 ounce bottles. So truthfully, if you drank 2 of them, it'd be just shy of drinking 3 brews. So that's plenty, right? They come in 4-packs. They come in 4-packs. They come in these 4-packs. Most places they run $8.99. I found one recently that had them for $7.99. So it's not a cheap beer. It's not an extremely expensive beer. That's not what I buy all the time, but I like to get them when I can. I think I will probably wait. I bought this about a month ago, I guess. I still had a couple left. I just drank one here and there. But anyway, I think I'm going to try to get another 4-pack as I get closer to Thanksgiving, because I think it is a beer that will go great with my Thanksgiving dinner. I've talked about that with other beers, too, recently that I think will work well. I've got a couple oatmeal stouts that I'm warming up to. So I'm going to, see how I think they'll work as well. Piney River. I had a Piney River. I love it when things kind of run through my head. Anyway, Piney River Black Walnut Wheat. I bought a 4-pack just before we got to St. Louis, and I drank 3 of them, doing videos up there with them. I've got 1 left. So if I'm not able to buy another 4-pack, I'm going to hang on to that 1 I've got left, and I'm kind of gonna. I don't know if I'll have that with my Thanksgiving dinner, or that'll be kind of one I drink while I'm doing my prep for Thanksgiving, because it's got that nice feel about it. That black walnut's very tasty, but being a wheat, it's a lighter beer. It looks dark, but it's got a very light body. So we've got a lot of flavor, but it's light, so it kind of gives you everything you want. So, there are places for brews like this, Oh, I love what the craft brew industry is doing right now, and I think it's, of course, I haven't really traveled outside the U.S., but from what I see from friends that aren't here, it's kind of doing the same thing everywhere. You've got these little craft breweries popping up just about everywhere. And in many cases, they're just small neighborhood breweries, and also in many cases, they're never going to be much more than that, and that's fine. You know, if you've got a niche in a certain area where people will come to you and keep you going, and they love your local brews, hey, you know, because that's what things were like before Prohibition. And unfortunately, after that, we kind of got owned by this macro mentality that a beer had to look a certain way and taste a certain way. And I'm glad we're kind of away from that. That there were enough people that kind of woke up and said, "Hey, that's not really beer." They said, "This is what we want to drink." And then you've got breweries like Urban Chestnut that have the ability to think out of the box and say, hey, let's try this. You know, let's pay homage to the traditional old world style of brewing, but, you know, let's think out of the box too. Because because we can, and that's great. So, man, my son had read all the Hunger Games books, so when that movie came out, The Hunger Games, we actually had to be in St. Louis at that time for his treatment. So when the treatment was over, we went to the movie because he deserved it, right? You know, if there's ever a kid that deserved what he got, you know, any good that he can get, he deserves. But he wanted to see the movie, so we went and saw it right when it came out. And it was a good movie. He's a kid that loves to read, and there were some minor changes, or there were some changes, but he said overall the movie stayed fairly true to the story, and you know they kept the essence of it, and he was still pleased with the movie. So anyway, I said all that to get around to something else, which was that we were finally just able to buy the DVD to come home with, so we could watch it when we're home. We started watching part of it last night, but everybody was so tired, we gave up. So I think I got a little piece of chestnut there. Anyway, so they said finally mailed. Ain't shit. Excuse me. I hope you didn't hear that. That was a little beer whisper sound effect. Anyway, you know. So we will probably watch the rest of it today. It was a good movie. I didn't read the books, but I thought the story was very interesting and very compelling. He first started reading them in 6th grade, I believe. His com arts teacher had the book and was reading it, so he started reading it. And he's read the whole series now, so he's looking forward to all of them. The movie was really good, and I'm looking forward to seeing it again on DVD here. My daughter was a fan of the Twilight series, you know, because she's a girl. So, you know, I kind of suffered through that. I didn't think the first movie was terrible, but I thought the second one was. Yeah, I mean, I kind of watched the first one thinking, okay, that's not bad. Graham Greene is good in it. You know what I'm saying? But the second one, man, and I never watched the third one, you know, or anything past the second one. I'd rather them, you know, yank my fingernails out one by one than have to sit through another Twilight movie. But anyway, I digress. And you can see how we've come through this beer here. You know, sometimes, you know, beers, you get little pieces of hop at the end, you know, they're not filtered. This one, I swear to golly, I'm getting little pieces of chestnut. It says they use finely milled chestnuts. Every once in a while, I'm going, you know, just like if you just ate a handful of nuts, after a while, you start doing this, after, you know, 20 minutes later, you're going, yeah, I'm doing that right now with the chestnuts. Anyway, hey. It took about 15 minutes, but it is a big bottle of beer. It is tasty, man. I recommend you try it if you ever have the opportunity to. Urban Chestnut, Winged Nut. Hey, this is Tom the Beer Whisperer, and you've been drinking with the Beer Whisperer. I'm going to go sit down for a little bit.